Hello there, my disciples, and welcome to Find Your Path, where me and other VTubers talk and try to figure out how to turn their favorite characters into Pathfinder characters. With me today, I've got Xandrew Productions.
Hello, everybody. I'm Xandrew. I am a video content creator. I do reviews, storylines, all that fun shenanigans of any kind of content creator or whatnot. And yeah, so let's give this a shot. I've never tried this before, so.
Well, that's why I made this show, to try and open people up to the idea of it. So then,
right.
Xandrew, who is your favorite character?
Now, I had to really think about this one because, like, at first I was going to do, like, an anime character, like, standard kind of thing. But then I had to really look back at my childhood and go, what is, like, my absolute favorite childhood of my past? And then I remembered my favorite franchise of all time, Ghostbusters. And one of the characters that I absolutely adored was, hands down, Egon Spangler from the OG Ghostbusters.
Now, Ghostbusters, quick question. Is this the one with the group of 4 guys, or is this the one with the gorilla?
This is the one with the 4 guys.
What do you think, Egon?
I think this building should be condemned. There's serious metal fatigue in all the load-bearing members. The wiring is substandard. It's completely inadequate for our power needs. And the neighborhood is like a demilitarized zone.
All right. So then, why don't you tell us a little bit about Egon?
Well, I know that, like, he's kind of the brains of the operation. Like, he's definitely, like, got this. He's the techno know-how kind of guy. Like it's routine to have, like, the standard nerd guy, but, like, Egon was like the most recognizable staple of that concept. Like, I would like to think that he is the originator of that trope, when you think about it. I like to think that him, along with Dan Aykroyd's character, Ray Stantz, is responsible for, like, all the tech builds. So not only for the science and stuff, but, like, also for tech building and stuff like that. So
what does Egon actually do for the team aside from being the tech specialist? Like, what is his day job?
I know that him and the group were once upon a time students of a college or something like that. But, like, that didn't, like, but then they got kicked off campus or something like that. They decided to work for themselves and started becoming the Ghostbusters. Like, after their first ghost encounter, they're like, you know what? We can make this a profession. We can actually, like, make bank with this. And he's one of the 3 founders of the Ghostbusters.
I'm starting to get a picture in my head.
If anything, he also has, like, a great vast knowledge of the supernatural.
No, that's going to be very interesting to put into this.
Yep, like, he does extensive studies of, like, he knows the science of a ghost, like, classification, stuff like that. I know that, like, Ray is also a part of that, but, like, I also know that, like, he helps with that kind of thing.
Alright. I think I got everything all set up.
Oh, wow, really?
Oh yeah, so, Egon Spangler. Well, starting with the ABCs, Egon is most likely going to be a human. As such, we're going to put his bonuses from being a human into intelligence and dexterity. As for his background, we're going to give him the scholar background. As such, there are 4 options for the scholar: arcane, nature, religion, and occultism. And it's starting to sound like he's really good at the occultism part. So, we're going to be putting those bonuses into intelligence and dexterity as well. On top of that, it automatically makes him trained in occult magic. And finally, for his class. Now, would you believe me if I told you there was a class specifically for inventing things?
Really?
Oh yeah, there is. It's known as the Inventor class. So it automatically boosts up his intelligence right then and there. He has his choice of having a custom-made weapon, custom-made armor, or a custom robotic companion by his side. And as such, I'm deciding to give him a custom weapon, a weapon innovation.
I mean, like, he is one of the guys responsible for making a good majority of the tech. So, I mean, like, your first evidence of it is from, like, the very first scene of the film, where, like, he is wielding the psychokinetic energy meter, the PKA meter.
So at level 1, he does get 4 free ability boosts, and I'm choosing dexterity, intelligence, charisma, and wisdom. Based upon what I know about the character, he seems to be the brains, and that seems to be all 3 of the mental spots that I can give him, plus the dexterity, because he doesn't seem all that strong.
I agree when it comes to physical strength, but I will say that, like, he definitely has charisma. That's definitely another thing that he also has.
And also at level 1, he does get quite a few number of skills. He automatically starts off with being trained in lore academia for being a scholar, as well as being trained in occultism for that.
Right.
But he also gets 7 extras for his class and his intelligence modifier. I gave him ranks in medicine, diplomacy, deception, athletics, arcana, and also gave him 2 lores, lore hauntings and lore fungus.
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Sometimes it's just the few lines that people give out, you immediately get to know them kind of deal.
It is. For his heritage feat, we're giving him versatile heritage, which then gives him the access to the skill of snare crafting, allowing him to craft snares and traps.
Because after all, after like learning about like the first encounter with the ghost of the Gray Lady, the library ghost, I know that like he was doing some calculations as they were leaving, terrified, but then collecting their thoughts like, wow, I can't believe we actually discovered ghosts are a thing. And then he figures, after these calculations, there are ways to capture a ghost and to like imprison them kind of thing. And it's like, he pretty much helped start the whole empire of catching ghosts kind of thing.
Well, that's good, because one of the snares that we're actually going to be giving him is actually a very special snare. It is known as the Spirit Trap.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yep. You set up a snare in a 10-foot by 10-foot area, and if the creature fails, they are immobilized for 1 round.
That's just fantastic.
Oh yeah. So also at level 1, we're also giving Egon the ancestry feat of cooperative nature. This makes it so that when he works together with his friends, they're able to give each other a +4 circumstance bonus to aid each other. And finally, his class feat. I decided to give him built-in tools, allowing him to craft not only the snares, but also alchemical items later on down the road much easier. Speaking of which, I didn't even talk about his weapon. So, why don't you describe the Ghostbusters weapon for me?
Oh, I'd be more than happy to, because here's the thing. As a kid, my favorite thing, not just from like watching them catch the ghost, was the equipment. It was just like, it had everything. It had lasers and lights and stuff. It was like the toy of my childhood that I've always wanted. So what they have equipment-wise is the energy needed to power up the lasso device. Notice they have a proton pack, which is the energy thing that helps like build up the energy for the energy beam. And to release said beam, they need the proton gun, or as I've known it, is known as the neutrino wand, in where it releases an electronical beam of proton energy, which helps ensnare the damage as well as ensnare the ghost. And proton energy is nothing to laugh at. It is highly dangerous, may cause some burns and stuff like that, so always be cautious when a Ghostbuster's working, that kind of stuff. And what it does is that like it helps lasso the ghost, kind of like how you lasso a cow or something like that. However, the pack and the wand itself are not what traps the ghost.
Alright, well, with the weapon innovation, the best thing I can do for the pack and the neutrino wand would probably have to be giving him a grapple gun with clockwork. So, as the grapple gun might suggest, you are able to launch this thing at an opponent with a range of 100 feet.
Jeez.
As of right now, it really can't do much other than just attempt to try and hit people, but this is considered an improvised weapon, since it's supposed to be more used as a tool than an actual weapon. So it does get a -2 for attacks, but at the same time, it's still treated as a simple weapon, and to GM discretion, it is allowed to get some traits. So I decided to give it 3 traits. The one that I'm giving him right now is the Clockwork Grapple Gun, so it has the ability to grapple, trip, and it's considered a clockwork weapon. Now, as an inventor, Egon does have a special ability known as Overdrive, which does allow him to set his weapon into a powered-up state for a short amount of time.
Ah, we call that crossing the streams.
Yeah. Because, on a critical failure, whoops, something explodes, and you end up taking fire damage equal to your level. You can't overdrive again for another minute. On to level 2, we're going to be taking the Snare Crafter Dedication feat. What this does is that normally it takes 1 minute to set up a trap. With this, you can set up a trap with 3 interact actions. It also allows you to, each day when you make your preparations, to prepare up to 4 snares from your formula book for quick deployment. So you can only do it 4 times a day. Of course, you can also upgrade that by increasing your crafting rank, but as an inventor, that automatically goes up as you level up. And as for your skills, well, let's get you Eyes for the City, which will allow you to track down targets with the help of the locals, using your diplomacy or society checks. Now for level 3, we're going to be upgrading his athletics by our choice, and with Expert Overdrive, that automatically bumps crafting up to an expert as well.
I definitely know, like, over time, he is definitely he is a very crafty son of a gun. Like I said with the mood slime, like we were able to reverse engineer it to become a good mood slime, and they utilized it in such an interesting way, where like they invent a new weapon called the slime blower, and where the slime blower like sends out positive vibes or something like that, and that said positive vibes were able to like have them move, like have the Statue of Liberty be alive walking around.
Since he is such a crafty guy, we're actually going to be giving him the general feat of improvised tools. This will make it so that way, if he doesn't happen to have his tools on hand, he still has some way to help jury-rig a solution, even for a temporary time. So now he can actually do things that would normally require tools, even if he doesn't have his tools on hand. Alright, on to level 4. This is the last level I got set up here. So for his class feat, we're going to be giving him Surprise Snare. Basically, it allows him to install one of their snares prepared for quick deployment in a space that's occupied by an opponent. So basically, this is like them sliding the trap underneath a ghost, just trying to catch it there. For his last and final feat that we have on here, Alchemical Crafting. This will allow him to basically craft alchemical items, including but not just limited to, ghost charges, which basically are bombs that specifically hurt ghosts that are healed by negative energy. It also works on zombies and skeletons too, any undead really. Now in terms of Egon's money, he would start off with about 140 gold, so we're going to be putting that into partially most of his weapon, making it into a +1 grapple gun, giving it +1 to hit and damage, as well as also giving the weapon Ghost Touch, allowing it to actually hit ghosts. And as an inventor, and this being his weapon innovation, we're giving this weapon the Segmented Frame. Basically allows him to break down the weapon and store it in parts that way it doesn't all look like one giant weapon. It just looks like smaller pieces of tools.
I mean, I will say the equipment does look like a bunch of items that got slapped together to make it work. One thing the Ghostbusters are not shy of is their equipment aesthetic. They really don't care what their equipment looks like as long as it works.
Well, that's good, because with Egon's strength being a +0, we gotta talk about his armor, and it seems best to give him leather armor in this case.
I mean, yeah, like, I think that's why they have their jumpsuits as well, because you can almost consider the jumpsuit as the leather armor when you think about it, because it's light and it gets cleaned after, and it seems to have like a good chance of getting cleaned after a ghost encounter of getting slimed, so...
And as such, we're also going to have to give him some items and tools in order to be able to craft things, so we're getting him the Snare Kit, Alchemist Tools, and an Alchemist Lab. This way he can make his ghost charges and spirit traps in peace. But with that said and done, that is Egon. What do you think?
I think what you were able to describe and like how Egon could be made in Pathfinder, I think the late Harold Ramis would be proud.
That's very kind of you, there's Andrew. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you?
Well, if you can find good old me, I go by the name Xandrew Productions, with an X, not a Z. I know I get that mistake a lot, but I also added a tag just in case if someone misspelled my name wrong. You can find me on Twitter at Xandrew. Is it at Xandrew Bull? At Xandrew Bull. And you can find me on YouTube at Xandrew Productions, or if you're adding me, at Andrew Bull Xandrew.
Well, thank you very much for joining me there, Andrew. I hope to see you again sometime. Thank you everybody for coming by and watching. Be safe and be awesome out there. Bye!